Hello guys, today I have prepared a park battle which is Alton vs Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Thank you for Blazing Aqua for the suggestion for this video, so it's going to be a good one. Let's get started. First we've got the two dive coasters at the park. So you've got Oblivion, which was actually the first dive coaster, which is the Alton Towers. You'll notice that Alton Towers actually have the original of quite a few models, which is quite cool. But then Busch Gardens has got Griffin, which is quite a lot bigger, and it's got two inversions, whereas Oblivion hasn't actually got any. I'm going to give Oblivion a fairly good score just because it's so intense. It's sometimes even possible to grey out on this thing. It's really good. I mean, I've never been on Griffin, but I've been on Sheikah, and that does place in my top 10 coasters, so and they're very similar, so that's why I've given Griffin a better score than Oblivion. Next we've got two of probably the best family coasters in the world. We've got 13, which is an Intamin family coaster at Alton Towers, against Alton, which is a Sierra launched family coaster at Busch Gardens. And these are both fantastic because, spoiler alert, they both include the vertical track drop, which is really cool. And Alton and 13 both have some awesome theming. Quite similar theming in a way, actually. 13's a little bit more dark than Alton, but they both look really awesome. 13 is one of the best rides at Alton Towers, plainly because of its theming, and it's so nice. And I do wish to ride Alton in the future. Next we have two sit-down looping coasters. We've got the Smiler, which is the Gutzler Infinity coaster at Alton Towers, which has more inversions than any other coaster in the world, which is 14, which is pretty cool. And Loch Ness Monster, which is one of the best arrow loopers in existence. I can imagine Loch Ness Monster is going to be very forceful. The Smiler is quite forceful as well. But I'm going to give the Smiler a lot better score because it was visually impressive. I'm not a big fan of it myself. Every ride I've had in it really has been pretty rough, but apparently they've added a new train to it. Which hopefully should make it pretty smooth. I mean, Gerstlauers don't tend to be the smoothest rides in the world, but hopefully it will improve. Next we have the launch coasters. Now this might cause some argument, but Rita Alton Towers, I absolutely despise it. A lot of people like it, but it's one of the roughest coasters I've ever ridden. This is the main reason I tend to blame Intamin for being really rough. This coaster, it is horrid. I mean, the launch is really forceful. It's great, but it's just so rough when you're going around that little spaghetti ball figure 8 thing. It's not nice. And then Tempesto, which is top class name, by the way. There. Tempesto, love it. Which is a Premier Ride Skyrocket 2 model, and these are meant to be pretty fun, pretty forceful. So naturally, it's just gonna because it's a lot smoother as well, it's gonna get a better score than Rita. Also because Tempesto's got a lap bar, Rita doesn't. Next, we've got two of the smallest coasters at the park: Octonauts Roller Coaster Adventure at Alton Towers. And Grover's Alpine Express. Although Grover's Alpine Express does more, you're not really going to notice a difference just because they're so small. It probably does give a slightly more thrilling ride, but to be honest, you won't really notice. And Sierra's, I've been on a Tivoli model before, and if I'm honest, it wasn't that fun. Considering it was a family coaster, it was actually quite rough, and I don't know how that's possible, but it just was. So I'm just going to give them both 1 out of 5 because they're nothing special really. Next we've got two probably the most iconic B&M coasters in the world. Probably. You've got Nemesis, which is one of the best B&M inverted coasters ever at Alton Towers, and Alpengeist, which has got mixed opinions over at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I believe Alpengeist is the tallest B&M invert in existence, but a lot of people have been saying that it's rough and not enjoyable, especially that Cobra roll. It's meant to be horrible, and I'm honest, it doesn't look great. I mean, the layout looks quite nice. Overall, looks like great, nice. But if it's rough, I'm just gonna not. Just looks horrible. But just because of the sheer speed and it's got some cool inversions, I'm gonna give it a fairly good score. Whereas Nemesis, on the other hand, not my favourite B&M invert. I think it might even be slightly overrated by people who haven't ridden it. But I mean, I've ridden it a lot of times, and I can say it's an absolutely fantastic ride. Definitely the best ride on Towers, in my opinion. It's just so intense. And yeah, that's why Nemesis is going to get a great score. Next, we have a really strange matchup. It's Galactica, which is a B&M flying coaster. It used to be Air, but they added VR. Why? And Apollo's Chariot at Busch Gardens, which is a B&M hypercoaster. And Galactica, once again, was the first B&M flying coaster in existence. It's pretty, when it was there, it's pretty fun, you're just flying around. I mean, apparently it is more re-rideable than some of these other ones in America, actually. Like things like Tatsu. But, I mean, it's fun. It's good for what it is, really. It's nothing that special. That's why I've just given it a 7 out of 15. I mean, to be honest, I can imagine rides like Tatsu Mountain, is it the Skyscraper, I think? They all look a lot better than this, really. But Apollo's Chariot is definitely one of the best B&M hypers in existence, and I think it looks absolutely great. That's why I'm giving it 14 out of 15. And we come to the end of the roller coaster matchups, but Alton Towers has Spinball Whizzer, which is a marathon spinning coaster, so it's going to earn some points for that. Next we have the Drop Towers. Now this is probably going to cause a lot of argument. I have included Nemesis Subterra for this part battle, but I don't think it's been operating for the 2016 season, but like it was so good, and I think it's worth including because I'm not sure what's happening to it. So it is a drop tower, but it's more like an immersive walkthrough experience thing. Almost a scare attraction. It's really good. The theming is fantastic for the UK. So I've given it an 8 out of 10, and you've got the Mock Tower at Busch Gardens, which, well, it's okay. It's probably not gonna be as intense as these Intamin gyros and the Intamin at its sister park, Falcon's Fury, which is definitely gonna be a lot better than this one. So I've just given Nemesis Subterra a lot better score because of its theming. So we're gonna move on to the other topics now. So we've got the Family Ride Collection. Now this is probably going to be pretty similar at each park. Alton Towers is going to earn a pretty good score because it's got CBeebies Land, which is a really, really good kids area. And Busch Gardens Williamsburg just has a fantastic collection. So that's why they're gonna be earning the same score. Next we have the appearance category. This is a category where both parks really do excel. So Busch Gardens Williamsburg is often considered the prettiest park in the world, so naturally it's going to get a perfect score. It looks fantastic. And Alton Towers is often in the Golden Ticket Awards for the best landscaping, and it is really nice. I mean, the only reason it's not getting a higher score as Busch Gardens Williamsburg is because there are some areas of the park which just aren't quite as nice. I mean the landscaping's great all around, really, but down the back part of X Sector, which is the area with Oblivion and Smiler, it's not really as great. Next we have the operations, which both parks also do very well in. Most people will probably say that Alton Towers aren't that good just because of the Smiler, but to be honest, on the whole, Alton Towers operations tend to be probably the best in the UK. And Busch Gardens just tend to do a bit better in this category. I've been to Tampa, I haven't been to Williamsburg, and their operations on the day was absolutely fantastic. So I can imagine Williamsburg is probably going to be just the same. So, as you may have noticed, the park battle is currently at a draw, and this is where I'd usually end it. But I'm going to add in just one category for this one, which will set these two apart. And it is food. Now, Alton Towers, well, they did add the roller coaster restaurant this year. I haven't actually had the pleasure of going to it yet, but I have done the original, which is Food Loop at Europa Park. That was great, so I can imagine this one's going to be just as good. But outside the roller coaster restaurant, the food at Alton Towers is not that good. It's all Merlin brands, and it's just your standard fast food, really. I mean, it's not great. But Busch Gardens Williamsburg looks absolutely fantastic for food. If I was to compare it to anywhere, it really does look like Europa Park standard. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to give it a lot better score than Alton Towers. So Busch Gardens has won. So thanks guys for watching. I do have a little announcement to make just about my next video, probably next video, because I'm going to do a big project which I've been working on for a while now. I'm going to reveal it now. It is actually a 4-way park battle. So that's going to probably come up in the next few days. I'm not going to tell you the parks, you're going to have to wait until that. But yeah, if you do hear about this announcement, good. Thanks for staying until the end of the video. I can imagine not many of you do that. No, I'm hoping you do. But yeah, thanks for watching. And once again, thanks for the suggestion. Don't forget, you can keep leaving your suggestions in the comments. I do look at all the comments that you post. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.